Hey, this is Neil's Han Dynasty. That's Harley. Say hi, Harley. Like, share, and subscribe. Be kind, helpful, and grateful. Buy some silver, some platinum, and some crystallized osmium because it's just the thing to do. It's a good thing to do. It's called sound advice. I don't give financial advice, I only give good advice. Having said that, that's not what this is about. This is from WFAA. Texas is running out of water. Ag Commissioner warns. Full interview. Uh-oh. Texas, they want to break off and be of their own country, and then they're going to turn into a desert and need America for water. You better think twice before breaking away from America, boys, until you get your crap together.
Welcome to the program. Texas is fast losing this natural resource of water here. Are leaders in the state taking this seriously enough?
Well, I certainly am. I mean, it's been an issue for me for 10 years. Uh, we lose about a farm a week in Texas, but we're not running. We're 700 years before we run out of land. The limiting factor is water. We're out of water, especially in the Rio Grande Valley.
Is that why we're losing farms?
It is. It is. We lost an entire industry of sugar production. Sugar cane is gone from the valley. The last sugar plant had to close because farmers couldn't get enough water to raise the sugar cane. We pushed out 6,000 acres of citrus for lack of water. A lot of people, especially in that part of the state, blame Mexico not fulfilling their treaty. They're supposed to supply us with so much water. We share the water in the Rio Grande, and that's basically the only water down there. There's not sufficient groundwater to supply the cities or the farmers. But it's my view is we got to quit complaining and do something about it. We got to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps, and we've got to start doing one thing like off-channel storage. In high water events, that water just runs right out in the bay. We miss it. It goes right by us. We've got to start being smarter. We spend millions and millions of dollars on stormwater drainage, getting rid of stormwater. We need to capture that, do rainwater harvesting.
But isn't that polluted though? Everyone I've talked to says
Actually,
a lot of that water is polluted. We can't use it anyways.
No. Rainwater is virtually almost clean. It's never hit the ground.
If you capture it before it hits the ground,
I guess. You catch it off rooftops. Sure. I mean, that's as old as Texas. I mean, the Texas was settled with cisterns and catching rooftop water. But these huge distribution warehouses, we can capture that. You don't have to clean it up. You use it for irrigation, municipal, manufacturing, so many uses. We've got to embrace reverse osmosis. We can clean up brackish water very cheaply. Our fracking industry is changing. They're starting to use brackish water, cleaning it up. We got to recycle our water. Our water treatment water goes right into the creek, right out in the Gulf. We need to capture that and let my farmers irrigate with it. Great example of that is Israel. They don't waste a drop of water over there. And we've got to do a better job, a smarter job of managing our water resources. We have infrastructure problems. But some of our cities lose 30% of the water by the time they get it to the customer. That's unacceptable. We can't waste 30% of our water.
I think you wrote in the op-ed recently that there were a half dozen cities that wasted somewhat 88 billion gallons.
88 billion gallons.
Were those like big cities, or are those like suburbs, or what are those?
There was an article went out this week on the city of Houston. Billions and billions of gallons of water they just waste. They can't account for it. It's leaky infrastructure. They replace 2% of their water lines a year. It takes 50 years to replace an antiquated water system. That's unacceptable. We got to be more aggressive than that.
You just laid out some things that the state needs to do to try to capture water and retain it more. What's that going to cost, though? It sounds pretty expensive.
Well, the money's there. We have the Texas Water Development Board. We have $6 billion in there for water projects. We loaned it out. It's evergreen. It comes back in. You have to pay it off. I have grants. I just set out 90 grants to small communities across Texas, $500,000 each, $450 million to replace, antiquated water lines. We've got to stop wasting water. We have the federal government has several programs to replace infrastructure. We're just not tapping into those like we should be.
You saw our interview with Senator Perry last week talking about this too. You're one of the few statewide elected officials that I know of that's sounding the alarm on this issue. Why aren't more people talking about this?
Well, I don't. They should be. I mean, we've got a. So here's another huge factor, and people need to know this. America's been known as the breadbasket of the world. We kind of feed the world. last year, it probably shocked your listeners to know that we bought $16 billion more food than we exported. We bought in food more than we exported.
And we haven't done that in the past?
Never done that, not in my lifetime that I know of. This year's forecast was at $32 billion imported. Last week, the new revised report came out. We're going to import $42 billion more food products than we're going to export. That's unacceptable. A lot of that is poor marketing by the USDA, but a lot of it's attributed to we don't have water to grow the crops. Our tomato production in the valley is just about gone. They usually grow 5 crops of vegetables in that winter garden area. They have enough water to grow 1, so our production's down 80%.
What does that mean?
And it's all about water.
What does that mean when I go to the grocery store? If Texas can't grow some citrus crops, if it can't grow tomatoes, are Texans paying more already because of this issue?
You know, it's still, the prices are still pretty competitive, but you are paying more, and it is the added freight. You know, it has to come from Mexico, Central, South America. That all adds cost. So that's all passed on, and that's why the cost of gas and groceries, you know, you've seen the charts, how much groceries are up 20% to 40% every time you go to the grocery store, and that's why.
Put this in context for us. How serious is the situation for the state of Texas? Last week I called it an existential threat. Was that hyperbole?
No, I think it is a threat. People are not talking about it, but we need to get it on the radar. We're Texans. We can take care of ourselves. We've got to quit whining about Mexico not paying their water bill, and we got to do something about it ourselves. And we have the resources and the know-how to use brackish water, to salt water. City of Alice is going to get completely off of lake water, and they're going to RO water. They're going to use brackish water, a whole new source of water. El Paso and Big Springs have been doing it for years. El Paso recycles their wastewater. We've got to be smart about managing our water resources.
Commissioner, let me ask you about politics for a moment. Has partisan politics blinded leaders in this state, you think, taking their attention off of what we really should be doing, thinking about how to keep the state alive for the next century?
Well, I think we need to start talking about water. I mean, we're out of it. There is, we've got to have new sources. We've got to manage the resources we have.
Is it that serious?
It is.
You said we're out of it. Is it that serious?
It is. You can't get a Pecos cantaloupe anymore. The whales are dry out there. They don't grow cantaloupes in Pecos. And everybody used to love to eat Pecos cantaloupes. You can't find one anymore. Those farmers are gone. There's no water. They had to leave.
What happens to this land?
Well, that's kind of an arid desert type land out there in far west Texas. Not much else you can do with it. There's some oil and gas production on it, but that's about it.
Okay, oil and gas. So it's being used for something, I guess.
Sure.
But not what it could be used for. We've done stories in the past and done interviews in the past about how the lack of water threatens the growth in the state for urban areas too. This is across the board. This is not just agricultural areas and rural areas. This affects the state.
It affects everybody. I'll give you an example. So the Highland Lakes in the Austin area, Colorado River, that feeds all the way down to the Katy Prairie. That's our rice growing area. We once had 600,000 acres of rice down there. Now we're down to 100,000 acres. That industry's almost gone because they can't get enough water to water the rice. So what did we do? We did something smart. Off the Colorado River, we built off-channel storage. So in those high water events, when the river's up, we capture that water instead of letting it run out in the Gulf. And now we have a reserve, and our rice farms are starting to come back and multiplying. Our acreage is growing down there. We got to be smart like that. We're not smart like that in all parts of the state yet.
How much?
This is an interesting topic because here in California, we no longer grow almonds. We are getting out of the rice business. Actually, we're getting out of growing crops because here in Northern California, we're in the Central Valley area. LA is taking all the water so they can flush their toilets and wash their butts. And, let 10 million more people in, and so they can, flush toilets and wash their butts too. And every time someone new comes into LA and they take more water from Northern California, no one talks about this, but Northern California is not growing food. We don't have the water to grow food. We have firemen burning down forests. The parties that are in control need to get off their high horses and realize that they are not better than the people they elected that elected them, and they are there to do a job for the people that elected them, and they need to do that damn job because they're so worried about, oh, I'm powerful, I'm in control, I'm this, I'm that. No, you're a piece of shit. Get to work. All you politicians out there, get to fucking work, okay? Do your jobs. We have lots of things. This is a great country. Politics has ruined it. Let's get the politics out of it and let's make this country great again. That's what I say.